In a beautiful, lush green forest, there lived a little squirrel named Tinky. Every morning, she would go out in search of her friends, hopping around, playing, and greeting the forest with her sweetest smile, saying, "Good morning, forest!" The sun's rays shimmered on the leaves, and the air smelled of adventure. But today, Tinky noticed something unusual in the forest. There was a faint, magical glow coming from somewhere far off. She thought, what could that be? Let's find out, and set off on her new journey. On the way, Tinky met her dear friend Golu the rabbit, who was always munching on carrots. Golu said, "Tinky, where's that glow coming from?" Tinky smiled and replied, "Let's go and find out together." Just then, Mithu the parrot flew in from the sky. "Wow, I smell adventure!" The three of them laughed and headed deeper into the forest, where the sunlight now seemed mysterious. The shapes of the trees began to change, and tiny glowing particles floated in the air. Golu said, "Tinky, this feels like a dream." Suddenly, a glowing butterfly flew by, and the path ahead became lit up. Mithu said, "Looks like this butterfly is leading us somewhere." Sure enough, after a short distance, they saw a magical tree, its leaves glowing in golden light. Tinky gently touched the tree, and suddenly, a soft voice came from its roots. "Only one with a pure heart who defends the forest will gain its power." The three friends looked at each other in astonishment. Golu said, "So this tree is talking to us." Tinky smiled and said, "Maybe we've been chosen for something special." Mithu said, "Wow, now the adventure begins." And with that, the golden light from the tree surrounded them, making them glow. The forest began to change. Trees started glowing, flowers bloomed, and the air was filled with golden light. Golu's carrot became magical and began to shine. Mithu's feathers turned rainbow-colored, and Tinky's feet were surrounded by golden light. They all laughed joyfully. "We've become magicians." But little did they know, the real test was yet to come. Suddenly, the sky turned dark. The wind began to howl, and the roots of the trees started shaking. The magical tree's light began to fade. Tinky said, "Oh no, something's wrong." Just then, a scary shadow made of smoke appeared behind the trees, its red eyes glowing. Golu trembled, and Mithu flew up in fear. But Tinky stood firm. "We must not be afraid." The shadow roared and sent a ball of dark smoke flying toward them. Tinky raised her hands and a golden shield appeared around her. Golu threw glowing carrot beams of light, and Mithu circled above with rainbow-colored sparks. Tinky shouted, "If we stand together, no one can defeat us." They combined their powers. Golden and dark energy collided, and light spread throughout the forest. For a moment, everything became calm again. The shadow disappeared, and the magical tree began to shine once more. Flowers bloomed again, and the forest was filled with light and joy. Tinky smiled and said, "See, true friendship can defeat any darkness." Golu and Mithu hugged each other with joy, and the entire forest was filled with laughter and light. "Remember," Tinky said, "true strength isn't in weapons, it's in the heart." Golu replied, "And a little bit of courage and a magical carrot too." They all laughed together. Mithu added, "From now on, every day will be our friendship day." The golden light from the tree rose, and a beautiful rainbow appeared in the sky. The three friends looked up at the stars, which were twinkling brightly. Golden light floated through the air. Where there is friendship, there is always magic. Goodbye, kids. We'll meet again in the next story of Parky and Friends, The Magical Forest Adventure.